Welcome guys to another episode of Mark and Munch, and this episode is, I believe, episode 3 of the mini-series of Weight Loss Without Food Fear. Now, this episode is going to be slightly different from the other ones, as yes, I'm still on a diet, yes, I'm going to be having a lovely diet and meal. I'm going to be talking you through this in a sec, but I also want to talk around everything of what my business has to offer and why I'm different from other personal trainers, and why, if you're in the space or in the headspace of looking to work with someone like this, then why you should choose me.
So pick me, choose me, love me
over anyone else, or why I may be the right person for you. So we will get into the nitty gritty of that as a meeting. But first of all, just to, as always, to go ahead and give a shout out to this diet and meal. So this is essentially mince and potatoes. Very, very basic. I'm using chicken mince. There is a tomato sauce that we got from Aldi that is mixed through the chicken mince. There's some peeled baby new potatoes, and I've just bulked out the meal with some tomatoes, aka just some veg, just fill my stomach some more. I'm also going to be using some tomato sauce, zero, on the potatoes, because I love that shit. And you know what? Just to insult people, I'm going to put it on my chicken mince as well, because I love tomato sauce on anything. Why the fuck not? But yeah, so with this meal, I'll throw up the calorie counter on the screen along with the macros, so you can see that. Just here. Hope my editor got that. Okay, so with that, guys, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for all the follows so far and all the comments, and just generally all of the support. It's been amazing. Bon appetit. Straight into the first tomato. With a bit of tomato sauce on it. That's juicy. So before I get into anything as well, I have to say that timeline wise, I am now back from the stag do, and it's no mistake that I'm wearing a Built for Coaches hoodie. So first thing I'd like to talk about is the Built for Coaches. Shout out to Mark Strathairn and Jen McGrail on Built to Coach. First of all, for giving me this hoodie, even though I couldn't attend the live event. But I just want to say those guys are awesome if you are in this space for mentorship or retaining clients, or just generally try to be a better person / better coach. Not even a better coach, just a better person in general. Those guys will take you all the way, and they've definitely leveled my business up like no other. That's good. I forgot how tasty chicken mince could be. So yeah, unfortunately, I was unable to attend the live event. However, they were nice enough to grant me a hoodie, as I'm a dedicated loyal member. Outside of the stag do, where I weighed myself, I was up 3 kilo. Now, 3 kilo, roughly 6-7 pounds, not too bad. My strategy for when I got back was simply do what I could. Control the narrative, control what I could. So I just got back on my steps, went back to the gym. Only managed 3 sessions this week, is what it is. Missing one session is not going to kill you. I managed to complete all my cardio. Started tracking again, as I hadn't tracked on that weekend due to being away. So once I started tracking again, things gradually came down. As of today, I am 2.5 kilo back down. So I'm still slightly up on the scale. However, it's gradually just came back down as I've progressed the week. So, super happy about that. Got a couple bullet points on my phone here. I just wanted to kind of talk about it, because as I want to move through this, I want to move into the reasons why you should work with me, like as a personal trainer, and what my personal brand stands for, and basically what I'm all about, because I don't think I've really touched much on that in this channel. And I think it's important, because I'm not just all about stuff in my face, as much as I love to fucking do that. I also enjoy the coaching side of things and the compassionate side of things and empathy side of things. So outside of the burps, excuse me, around that and around the area here, obviously we love to have fun on this channel and we love to eat, but we also love to get results. And fitness should be fun and fitness should fit into your life. It shouldn't be the other way around. You shouldn't have to force it into your life. Which is why I love to doing this mini series, showcase some of my favourite meals while I'm on a diet. Yeah, it's boring, but guess what? Boring works. Boring isn't sexy. All these guys on TikTok and everything that do all these like fancy meal preps and everything, who the fuck's got time for that if you're working like a 9 to 5? Come on, let's be realistic. Like, sure, you could spend 6 hours on a Sunday meal prepping all that shit with all the different ingredients, making it look fancy, but for me that's like 6 hours of my week that I could be doing something else, like watching a fucking film or going to the cinema, spending time with family, playing some fucking video games, anything. Well, I always weigh it up as my free time is very precious to me these days. So, you know, meal prepping is fantastic. I don't make no mistake, I still do it, but I just don't make them Instagram/TikTok worthy, if you get my drift. They're not very aesthetic that way. But yeah, effectively, just to get into my coaching side, so number one point I'm going to touch on is clarity. So I coach everybody, but if I had a personal preference, I'd probably say and this is my personal bias here, is I love to lean into like dads or men between 25 and 40, is purely because that's, well, first of all, that's my age group, and I can relate most to them. And secondly, like, when I look at my story, right, I touched on video games there, my story started back in high school, where I didn't really have many friends in high school, always struggling to sort of fit in. And when I left high school, I had a very, very, very small group of friends. I'm talking like 5 or 6, and might even be less. And one of them actually invited me out. Now, I wasn't a massive drinker, and if you know anything about Scotland, there is or at least there used to be, a massive, massive drinking culture. You almost got peer pressured into drinking here, and I was one of those victims, if you want to call them that, who got peer pressured into drinking. Now, when I did go out and start drinking around 17, 18, I met another group of friends who were big drinkers, and I got something I'd never had before, like what I thought a big group of friends. I didn't really understand at that point the difference between true friends and drinking friends. However, they weren't bad people, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is though, I compromised my own vision and my own values in order to fit in with other people when I wasn't being true to who I was, who I wanted to be, who I am at my core. So it's this job I do now is very therapeutic for me because I feel I've come full circle. I'm in my mid-30s now, and I feel like as I'm coming to my mid-30s, I'm now just getting back to who I was at 17 prior to me just going out drinking, if that makes sense. Excuse me. Like, I've matured past it, and in hindsight, I can see that I compromised who I was for a long time, and I've decided not to do that anymore, and that comes through in my coaching. And that's ultimately why I like working with guys between 25 and 40, because a lot of them are in the same boat, especially if they're from this area. We tend to compromise and allow ourselves to be led by other people. And we're also told by society that it's wrong for us to express our own can't say that word today, individualistic, my editor couldn't get it for me, individualistic opinions and expressions if it goes against the grain or if it goes against the majority within the company or within the company you keep. So you're almost indoctrinated into conforming to society, whether you like it or not. Otherwise you're deemed an outcast. In Scotland they call it riddy culture, which basically means small town mentality. You get ridiculed if you step outside what they deem social norms, and you are also made fun of, a laughing stock, slagged behind your back, called names. People don't want to associate with you because they deem you embarrassing, and it's just really unrealistic, especially in 2026. Anyway, here's a big ass potato. My point being is, I can completely relate to the struggles there because in doing so for me, I put on a lot of weight. I was never happy with my body. I was never happy with the way I looked in the mirror. I went to the gym 5, sometimes 6 times a week. I could not understand why I didn't enjoy what I saw in the mirror. Sometimes I got compliments when I was out because I was able to hide in either baggy clothes or wear t-shirts that were quite loose around my stomach area, but quite tight on my upper body. And I've always been blessed with big shoulders, or broad shoulders. So that carried the appearance of being in shape somewhat. And plus, if you're going out to bars and shit like that, the vast majority of people there are not healthy anyway. So compared to them I was, but regardless, it wasn't where I wanted to be, and my physique has never leveled up more than since I moved away from that and moved away from alcohol. I'm not saying I don't drink. I do love a bevy. I was bevying at the weekend last year, but limited, not every weekend, controlled. You get so much further. Think of it as like seasons, you know? Like, you need to come off a drink for a little while, get the result you want, and then you can reintroduce it back in. A lot of people mistake that because they tend to think they can game the system and lose weight, chase the physique they want, and still have that type of lifestyle, and they clash, they do not mix. Might work to some degree for a little while, but inevitably you're always going to hit that wall. And that is something that I love to coach guys around because I've been through it. So the clarity is obviously, you know, things around food, things around that lifestyle, things around that culture, and I can relate a lot and just pull guys through it. So that definitely one of the biggest pillars of my coaching business. The second biggest pillar, sorry, just checking my notes here, credibility. Credibility is a massive thing in the fitness industry because there's a lot of people during COVID that jumped on the bandwagon that aren't even necessarily qualified or they aren't even really good coaches. There's even personal trainers, a lot of personal trainers actually, that are just winging it. They're not interested in getting clients lasting results. They're just interested in collecting money off them every month, or standing with their coffee, having a chat, seeing what else is going on around about them rather than the actual paying customer directly in front of them. And personally, it's sickening behaviour to me because I've came from a customer service background where, you know, I know it's cliche to say, customer is always right. However, customer is not always right. Most of the time they are. But if you're providing a service, then provide that fucking goddamn service to the best of your ability. Make sure that person is getting their money's worth. And ultimately, just give them your fucking attention. Like, be focused on them. Want to see them transform. Want to fucking have want to give them that lasting lifestyle change, want to change their fucking life, right? Not just fucking rinse them for fucking money. And then, you know, I see people not even finishing workouts. Like they'll chat to their client for an hour, they'll do like two or three exercises, talk for like 45 minutes, and then they leave with the client. They don't even say to the client, right, well, we've only done 3 exercises, we've talked a lot, I need to go just now because that's the hour up. You've got XYZ left, go and finish it. Something as basic as that, on a daily basis, I see this, and it makes me sick because people are stealing money. It's sad. And I feel sorry for the people that are paying for these personal trainers because, one, they're not going to get result. They're not going to get the service that they've been promised. And 2, it's also going to sour their relationship with personal trainers going forward because they're just going to look for answers elsewhere when they've already hired one, not gotten anywhere. And then they're chasing the next quick fix or they're chasing the next thing. Because obviously in their mind then personal trainers suck. All personal trainers are bad because that's their experience and that is customer service. You think about, you go to like any company in the world, let's just take Virgin Media for talking's sake. I don't even know if they have Virgin Media in the States. So if you're in the States, I'm talking about like, God, I don't even know what it's in the States these days. Like a internet provider, right? And you have a bad experience with that internet provider. You're gonna fucking tell people about it. You're gonna fucking spread the word. You're gonna be like, nah, my experience sucked. So therefore, I do not want to go back to that provider. Same shit applies for personal trainers, and that's why it annoys me. So credibility is massive. This is why obviously I showcase all my results and be as transparent as possible on social media. It's a bad day when being authentic stands out. That's the main point behind the credibility. Third point I just want to touch on today is compassion. And I guess it kind of swings around to clarity. And compassion is just, you know, again, because I've been in people's shoes, understand the issues around emotional eating, the shame around belly fat, and being a hamster on a wheel for 6 years, like feeling like you always need to start again, or I'll start Monday. I've been there. And you know, there's a lot of people that will say they've been there, but never clarify on points. I can tell you my entire life story because I have legit been there. And it's not a pleasant thing to go through. And yeah, everybody's got a sob story, but it's how do you turn that sob story into empowerment? Oh. How do you turn that sob story into something that is inspirational to others? And that's exactly what I do in my coaching business. I inspire my clients to learn from my mistakes so they can understand what they may be doing wrong at the time for long enough in order to achieve a result. Everyone's different. It can take longer for certain people, but ultimately, everyone goes through my 4-stage coaching business, 4-stage coaching model. And this brings me full circle because, pointing to Built for Coaches, I did a behavioural change course last year. It was called at the time Built to Coach, and the slogan before I signed up to this course was invest in them once and it will change the way you coach forever. And there couldn't have been a truer statement. During that time, that course, that enabled me to build out my 4-stage process where I take each and every one of my clients through, and it guarantees a result. Now, this is not based on time, this is not based on experience. As I said, everyone is different. Everyone will go from A to B to C to D at different times, but there is a clear path at all times, so people understand the bigger picture and people understand where they're going. And it's not just a case of turning up every Wednesday, having a chat, having a laugh, haha, 3 exercises, see you later Karen, or see you later Doug. No, this is a community that I'm building. I'm excited to share soon with some details of what I'll be doing in the future shortly. hopefully we can get some of the footage of said thing that's going to be happening up on YouTube. I'll need to discuss that with my editor, assuming she's not ripping me to shreds as I speak right now. However, that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on for this episode. Next episode, I want to touch on conviction and control around my coaching business. And I'm going to try and spice up something with the meals to make it at least a little bit more exciting, despite the fact I'm still on a diet for a few more weeks. But hold out, guys, we are almost there. The proper Mark and Munch will be back soon. Yeah, that was lovely. Certainly filled the gap. And I just love talking coaching as much as I love talking about food. So I hope you guys took something away from this episode. I hope you guys learned at least that, you don't sit and need to eat chicken and rice. Chicken and potatoes do. But yeah, obviously this was Mark and Munch. And please guys, like and subscribe and comment below if you want to see any particular diet foods, or if you have any burning desire questions that I might not have touched on here, or regarding diets or building muscle, anything along those lines. But yeah, in the description of the video, I will leave my social media link for Instagram. So if you do have any coaching inquiries, anything at all, you can take a wee look at that as well. So what I've spoke about today, you can get a better look and a better understanding of what it is I actually do on a daily basis, okay? But yeah, until next time, guys, peace.